Hello everyone, today we will find out how many sushi rolls can be made from one large Norwegian salmon. Specifically, our copy weighs 6.6 kilograms. We will use this meat to the maximum and find out how much homemade rolls will be cheaper than from delivery. Let's start with the butchering of the salmon. First of all, we cut off the head under the fin. There is no meat in this we need. Now carefully cut through the ribs, pressing the knife against the spine. We use this as a guide. And we will cut all the way to the tail. Done. Now carefully cut off the ridge from the second half of the fish. And we are not going to throw it away just yet. So from the first half of the fish, you need to carefully remove the ribs, losing as little precious meat as possible. Now the belly fat. We cut it off on the weight for better control because this part of the fish is the thinnest. We just cut off all the separated fat in one movement. There is also a fat layer on the back, so we remove it. Let's clean up the remains of the spine so that they don't get caught in the rolls later. One of the most important things is to get the last bones out of the fish. The most convenient way to do this is with pliers. That's it, the first fillet is ready. The second one needs to be processed in the same way. That's it, we ended up with two perfect fillets. They need to be cut into identical, rather wide pieces. The salmon turned out to have 8 perfect pieces, not perfect leftovers on a ridge. We pull off the right amount of film, cut, and pack each perfect piece of salmon. Every piece of fish must go through this stage. Everything's ready. We stack them on top of each other and pop them into the freezer. For further manipulations, the fish needs to freeze. Now let's move on to the leftovers. First of all, you need to take it off the skin. Cut the clean fillet into strips. This type of fish will go inside the rolls already. Now we will cut the rest of the pieces. Now that's left is the spine. You need to remove the leftover meat from it with this tablespoon, and this is the easiest way. In the end, we're left with a decent handful of meat. That's it, we butchered our salmon and squeezed the maximum meat out of it. Let's move on to the rice. We open it up. We will cook it in a large saucepan, so we pour in 6 kilograms of round grain rice into it. And we take it over to the sink. It needs to be thoroughly rinsed. This way, we get rid of all of the rice dust, and the rice will not be like porridge. So we drain the cloudy white water. And we continue to rinse 3 more times. Now pour 6.6 liters of water into the clean rice. After that, we send the pan to the stove. We will cook the rice under the lid at maximum heat. When the water boils, reduce the heat to 5. And set your timer for 15 minutes. After the time's up, you can turn off the stove. We take off the lid, cover with a towel, and put the lid back on. While the rice is steaming, we will make a dressing for it, and for this we need 660 milliliters of 9% vinegar, 540 grams of sugar, and 72 grams of salt. All this needs to be mixed up so that the sugar and salt completely dissolve. The dressing is ready. The rice has also steamed properly. We pour the dressing into it and mix it well so that each rice becomes delicious. For the convenience of work, pour all of the rice into a basin. The rice is finally ready. It has the perfect sticky texture, just what you need for sushi. The next stage is cream cheese. We have 6.9 kilograms. We open up the buckets. To make it more convenient to work with, you need to put the cheese into cooking bags. Here we're left with 5 bags. Next, you will need a lot of smooth cucumbers. Here there are 7 kilograms. They need to be cut into slices first. And then into strips. And we transfer it into the gastro capacity. We continue cutting. Now the cucumbers are also ready for work. Let's go back to the fish. During this time, it has already managed to freeze. Now we can take it out of the saran wrap. For the convenience of cutting, we will now need a Japanese knife. With its help, we carefully remove the skin from the scales. It is much easier to do this on frozen fish than on fresh fish. You also need to cut off the dark fat. We don't need this for the sushi. Let's turn over the piece. And now make cuts for our Philadelphia roll. There should be records. We transfer the finished pieces to another piece. This way, you need to cut the remaining 7 pieces of fish. As a result, we get such a beautiful sliced salmon. The rice is ready, the cucumber's ready, the cream cheese, fish, and now only nori is left. We take it out of the package. We also will prepare a place where we will put the finished rolls. To do this, we glue down a special film onto the table. Cut it off. And now it can be opened up onto the whole table. We put on some gloves. Before cooking the rolls, it remains to prepare the mat. To do this, take a piece of salmon and smear it onto the mat to form a layer of fat. For the Philadelphia rolls, we need half a sheet of nori, so we'll cut some of the sheets in the middle. Put it onto the mat. Next, take the rice and spread it out onto the sheet of nori. There should be an empty centimeter of nori into 2.5 centimeters of bulging rice. Turn it over. Next, squeeze out 2 strips of cream cheese. We spread out some cucumbers and wrap it up. There you go. Now we need slices of salmon. We spread them tightly on top of the roll so that the fish covers all the rice. And press down with the mat. That's it, we put the roll on the film. And we continue to prepare our Philadelphia rolls. It took 4 hours and we were left with 39 rolls. But we still have some leftover fish and we're going to put them inside the sushi. Here we will need a whole sheet of nori. We wet our hands in the water, and you can spread out some rice. We fill out almost the entire sheet. Next, to lay out the salmon strips. A strip of cream cheese on the side. Cucumber, and twist it up. The sushi's ready. We put it in some saran wrap. We continue until all of the salmon is finished. These rolls contain absolutely all the meat from one salmon. By the way, there were 16 black rolls, but only 55 pieces. Now for the slicing stage. The roll is enough. We moisten the knife in water and cut it into 8 pieces. We wipe the knife in between each roll, and we will put the sliced rolls in containers. Next, 3 rolls can be placed into one container. Cover with the lid, and it's done. We cut the black roll in the same way. The rolls turned out to be really large and beautiful in cut. We continued to pack them up. Finally, all the rolls are packed up and it doesn't look so homemade anymore. And if you count each cut piece as a roll, then 440 rolls are obtained from one salmon. It took us almost a day to prepare all of this. I have not cooked as many rolls as in a video as one time. It turns out that the profession of a dry cleaner is very labor intensive. And now we turn to the question of how much all this costs. To be objective, I deducted all remaining products from the price, and it turned out to be exactly $200. But the funny thing is, the same number of rolls from delivery would cost $258. That is, there was no point in cooking them at home. Let's taste our Philadelphia rolls. It's delicious. It looks very much like rolls from delivery. We are planning to take all these rolls to the children in need, so we will need a lot more ginger. We put them into a container and close it. You will also need wasabi. We open it. Currently it's in powder form, so pour the powder into a bowl. Add some water and knead. We are left with a very bright, thick wasabi, and to make it beautiful, we're going to put it into a cooking bag. And put it into the container just like this. Done. We also need some soy sauce, containers for it, and a lot of chopsticks. So we put everything into the car. And we go to the mother and children's home. In their dining room, we beautifully lay out all the rolls, chopsticks for them, and all the accessories. And then pour some soy sauce into the containers for them. And then we called on the children, and they were very surprised. Many of these children will be trying sushi for the first time in their lives. Some still didn't really figure out how to eat it properly. Almost nobody here really knew how to use chopsticks, but that's not surprising. I didn't learn right away either. I see you really like this format. Therefore, if you get 150,000 likes on this video, then in the next video we will check how much shawarma you can get from one spit of chicken meat. Also, subscribe to the channel. Bye everybody!